Welcome in, everyone. I hope you guys are doing great wherever you're watching from today. We have some interesting updates out of the Russia-Ukraine war as NATO and Russia trade shots, not actual shots. I should make that clear. Verbal shots, exchanges about what could be attacked if a NATO-Russia conflict fully kicks off, which I cannot stress enough is a very real possibility at this point amid serious and ongoing escalation. So we're going to get into exactly what has been said, what might come next, who would win that conflict, and I can't believe we actually might know what NATO might blow up first in the event this conflict goes hot. So we're going to break all that down. Before we do, as always, please make sure to like and subscribe. Totally free, cost you nothing. Huge boost to the channel. Comment with your thoughts below. How do you want to see Trump handle NATO? Handle Russia? How do you want to see Trump handle the Russia-Ukraine war? How do you think this will end? Let me know in the comments below. Hit that bell, all notifications turned on. You won't miss a single thing. Right here, bottom of the screen, Instagram, David_Hookstead, X, D Hookstead. That's where you can find me online. My DMs are wide open. Please reach out with any tips or just say hello. Now, let's get into it. We have seen a series of escalation steps taken by Russia to test NATO ahead of a potential direct conflict with NATO as the war in Ukraine continues to rage. And while that's raging, Ukraine is now launching strikes deep inside of Russia, hitting their energy infrastructure. They're also going into NATO territory now via the air. They've sent drones in Romania and Poland. The ones in Poland were on video being shot down. We had some really cool footage of that. They sent 3 MiG-31 fighter jets into NATO airspace over Estonia. Those fighter jets stayed there for 12 minutes before finally being chased out of NATO airspace. They were not shot down. However, President Trump then said he does want to see those planes get shot down. NATO is taking steps to shoot down Russian planes, and the European Union is also encouraging the planes to be shot down. So we are rapidly moving towards a situation where we will have missiles fired on Russian jets if they continue to attempt to breach NATO airspace. Well, what would happen if a Russian troop, an actual soldier on the ground, stepped 1 foot into NATO territory and tried to invade like they did in Ukraine? Of course, a war where hundreds of thousands of people have lost their lives. So I'm going to throw this up on the stage for you all. This comes from OSINT Defender. You guys know the account, some really good information over there. It says former commanding general of U.S. Army Europe, retired Lieutenant General Ben Hodges, has stated that Kaliningrad and Sevastopol would be destroyed within the first hours of a full-scale war between the United States and NATO versus Russia. So it's clear to note here, this guy is retired, but he previously commanded the entire U.S. Army in Europe. He knows the battle plans. He knows what the strategy would be. And he is saying, we are going to go for Kaliningrad and we're going to go for Sevastopol first above all else in the event of a Russian invasion of NATO territory. And he says, we're going to go to Kaliningrad and we are going to blow up Sevastopol as well. He's quoted as stating recently on a Polish television network, if Russia attacked Poland in 2025 the way it attacked Ukraine, it would simply be destroyed by NATO's air and ground forces. Kaliningrad would be eliminated in the first few hours. In the very first hours, Kaliningrad would cease to exist. All Russian facilities would be destroyed. Any Russian military facility in Sevastopol, likewise. Therefore, direct comparisons in this case are inappropriate. So he is saying on the record that the strike plan for a potential invasion of NATO territory would be, we are going to blow up Kaliningrad. We are going to blow up Sevastopol. These are the top few targets we're going to get. I'm going to pull up a map here for you all so that you guys can see where Kaliningrad is. Give me 1 second. Should have had this ready to go. Didn't realize I'd be talking about this. Didn't realize I would be pulling up a map, I should say. So let me pull this up for you. We're going to get it ready to go. Give me 1 second. This is where Kaliningrad is. What you see there on your screen, that red circled area, between Lithuania and Poland. That is Kaliningrad. That is Russian territory that doesn't actually touch Russia, but touches two NATO countries. And then there's a long border between Lithuania and Poland that stretches, and then Belarus obviously touches Lithuania and Poland, but it does not touch Kaliningrad. Russia has no ability on the ground to get troops into Kaliningrad. It's not possible. And what they're saying is Russia's always tried to hold that to pre-position troops, supplies, whatever it might be, into the region as a threat to like an early launch site against NATO. And what the general was saying, who again would know all these plans, what he was saying is, we're just going to blow that up. We're just going to blow it up. We're going to eliminate everything there, every facility, every bomb they have, every building, every truck, every aircraft on the ground. We're going to blow it clean out of there. That's where we're going to strike. Then we're going to go to Sevastopol and blow up all the Russian assets there too. And this is going to be done within the first couple hours. So those are the first two targets that have now officially been revealed. Kaliningrad and Sevastopol are the two targets that the U.S. is most interested in taking out in the event of an incident with Russia. So I'm going to pull this off the screen because NATO said much more than just that. This is a video of NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte, throw it up on the screen for you here, talking about the military power differences between Russia and NATO.
That airspace is not the same as ground. There's a big difference militarily, but also politically. Please take that into account. And the only thing I'm encouraging all of us is to take comfort in the fact that as NATO, we are 25 times bigger than the Russian economy. Our military is infinitely superior to the Russian military. When it comes to our air force, I mean, the Russians cannot even stand in the shadow with these MiG-31s or whatever they call them, with their not well-trained fighter pilots.
So right there, he is making it crystal clear that if a military conflict comes, the Russians are going to get destroyed because they don't have the tech, they don't have the money, and they have even less money now because Ukraine is starting to attack their oil infrastructure. So all signs point to, if this kicks off, Russia is going to get destroyed. Their planes won't be able to get off the ground. NATO will dominate the airspace. Does Russia have a lot of people? Do they have a lot of armor? Do they have a lot of artillery? Yes, yes, yes. We can also go in and blow up those factories wherever they might be. I did find it a little interesting how Mark Rutte was kind of saying, like, don't worry about these air incursions. That my buddy actually sent me that, and I was like, oh, that is a bit weird for him to say, a bit odd for him to say. But, you know, maybe he's trying to turn down the temperature. I don't know. So then after that, throw this up on the screen for you. A retired Russian general and member, I believe he's a member of their parliament, responded and says, Andrei Gurilev, a bellicose Russian retired general and a hardline MP, said in response to Hodges, we must prepare for a major war. He went on, the former commander of U.S. forces in Europe gleefully announced that they'll quickly demolish Kaliningrad and Sevastopol. These are NATO plans, and they're quite realistic. They're conducting exercises, including near our borders, to try to demolish our Kaliningrad and Sevastopol. And our task is to prevent the demolition of Kaliningrad, Sevastopol, or any other populated area on Russian territory. Kaliningrad, home of Russia's base Baltic fleet, must be an impregnable fortress. That means reserves, engineering functions, and protective structures for the civilian population. This means that we must take this extremely seriously. Hodges' comments were not just a statement, but a real existing threat from NATO. There must be clear plans for how Kaliningrad will become joined to the rest of Russia without some kind of middleman like Lithuania. So now he's saying we'll just take Lithuania. Now the Russians are saying we're going to go and invade Lithuania. We're going to do that to get Kaliningrad back, and I guess we'll just keep Lithuania as our own territory as Russia. Currently, Kaliningrad is cut off from the rest of Russia, criticizing Putin's invasion of Ukraine. Gurilev said plans to save Kaliningrad must be realistic, not like in 2022 when everyone was just running around saying we'll solve all the problems in 2 weeks. He added the enemy is preparing. It's clearly visible. They're preparing very hard. They're trying to somehow succeed. It's clear that today their main objectives are long-range airstrikes, including missile strikes. They currently have a real problem with their ground forces. This needs to be built up. My friends, it's the responsibility of the entire country to be prepared to repel an attack. So I'll pull that off the screen. The Russians are coming out and in no uncertain terms saying, if this happens, we're just going to sweep across NATO territory, take it for ourselves, make it our territory, and then we are just going to fight this massive war. And NATO is saying, if you make any move on NATO territory, Kaliningrad is going to be gone. We are going to destroy it. It's going to be completely destroyed. There will be nothing left of it. And then we'll blow up Sevastopol too. And once that happens, obviously the big question is, Russia can't compete conventionally. They can't win an air war. What do? Do they go use nukes? It's very possible they would. It's very possible they would if they felt the regime was going to fall. Now, I don't think NATO would go in and try to do a regime change war. I think they would push the Russians out and blow up the Russian infrastructure, arms manufacturing capabilities in Russia. I don't think you'd see them try to take Putin out. I don't think that's very realistic. But we have to be ready for all possible options. And that means being prepared for Russia to launch a strike on NATO, which means we've got to get our plans together. We cannot be caught with our pants down. If they want to fly jets into NATO airspace, shoot them down. Shoot them down. Shoot the jets down. Better that than they get a surprise attack off. And better yet, when you shoot the jets down, maybe the Russians will get the message and they'll stop doing it. But this is a very fluid situation. It could change at any time. I want to know what you guys think. Please let me know in the comments below. How do you think this situation ends? How do you want to see it end? Let me know in the comments below. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Totally free. Cost you guys absolutely nothing at all. Huge boost to the channel. Hit that bell. All notifications turned on. You won't miss a single thing. And then right here, Instagram, David_Hookstead, XDHookstead. That's where you can find me on social media. DMs are wide open. Reach out, send me any tips, or just say hello. I'll see y'all next time.